What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some interesting news. We had two things surface regarding former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, who's 30 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout. He's 33 years of age, 5'8", with a 69-inch arm reach. With that said, Keith Thurman, he made his highly anticipated ring return against Mario Barrios. That was February 5th of 2022 this year. Keith Thurman was out the ring since 2019, July 2019, when he had suffered his first defeat and lost his World Boxing Association, better known as WBA title, to legendary 8th Division World Champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny "Pac-Man" Pacquiao. With that said, after Keith Thurman, he won a unanimous decision over Mario Barrios, and Keith Thurman has been linked to many fighters. Now, Keith Thurman, he initially stated that he would love to face off against undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terrence "Bud" Crawford, who is 38 wins, no loss, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8", with a 74-inch arm reach. This came after Terrence Crawford had defeated another foe of Keith Thurman's and 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Sean Porter, November 20th of 2021. But with that said, Keith Thurman, he stated he needed 8 months, which would give him around that July time, okay, to fight Terrence Crawford. Then the WBC, World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Suleiman, board of 32 members, they decided to step in and make Keith Thurman's fight with Mario Barrios a title eliminator to make him the mandatory for the WBC title, in which Keith Thurman, he then stated that he was going in a different route than looking for Terrence Crawford fight. Well, Keith Thurman has been linked to another guy that's ranked very, very high in the WBC rankings, and all the rankings, should I say, and that's undefeated welterweight superstar title contender Jaron "Boots" Ennis. Jaron "Boots" Ennis is 29 wins, no losses, no draw, 27 big wins by way of knockout. He is 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach at 24 years of age, okay? Keith Thurman has been linked to Jaron "Boots" Ennis. Jaron "Boots" Ennis recently signed a lucrative deal with Showtime President of Sports, Steven Espinosa. And Steven Espinosa, he recently stated that he would love to make a fight between Jaron "Boots" Ennis and Keith one-time Thurman, okay? So we had a situation arise in which Jaron "Boots" Ennis, he dominated, which was supposed to be a step-up opponent for him, that took place May 14th against Custio Clayton, who was an undefeated fighter, and he dominated Custio Clayton, knocking him out in the second round of their fight, okay? So with that said, like I said, the links between Keith Thurman and Jaron Ennis became very strong. Now, what's interesting is that initially when Keith Thurman was making his ring return, making his comeback, and the build-up and, the talks and everything, the promotion for his fight with Mario Barrios, obviously people started to ask him about Errol Spence, undefeated, unified, 3-belt, WBC, WBA, IBF, Ring Magazine, welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be top 2, if not the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Errol Spence Jr., superstar boxer who is now 28 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. So the two have been linked. Obviously, Keith Thurman was asked about Errol Spence. They have a history in which the fight never materialized. Back in 2017, when Errol Spence, he beat Kell Brook in the UK for his first world title opportunity, he picked up the IBF strap. Keith Thurman, he held the WBA. He unified against two-time 2-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia. And Errol Spence, he pursued Keith Thurman for a unification bout, and Keith Thurman turned down Errol Spence numerous of times. The fight never came to fruition, and Errol Spence has no interest in fighting him. So obviously, though, in the build-up for his comeback fight against Mario Barrios, he was asked about Errol Spence, he was asked about Terrence Crawford, and then he was asked about Jaron "Boots" Ennis, in which Keith Thurman, he stated he didn't know who Jaron "Boots" Ennis was. Well, then he changed his tune. He did an interview in which he said he researched and studied Jaron Ennis, and Jaron Ennis reminded him a lot of Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, himself and Terrence Crawford, okay? High praise for Jaron Boots Ennis. That leads you to believe that Keith Thurman is not that interested in fighting Jaron Boots Ennis. Well, then we had, most recently yesterday, a fake article came out in which the article stated that Keith Thurman responded to Jaron Boots Ennis continuously calling him out aggressively to pursue a fight. And Keith Thurman got tired of, Jaron Boots Ennis calling him out and disrespected him, as he put in this article, and that he was willing to make the fight happen. Quote, this is what the article stated that Keith Thurman stated. I have no intentions of avoiding Jaron Boots Ennis. I'm getting really tired of him disrespecting my name. Let's make this happen, boy. Be careful what you ask for. I'm putting you to sleep to make a statement to the welterweight division. Keith one-time Thurman doesn't duck anyone, son. I'm back and more hungry than ever. Hence, this is Keith Thurman, okay? But you can't find this interview anywhere. You can't find where Keith Thurman has stated this. But what I can tell you is that I reached out to some sources regarding Keith Thurman possibly facing Jaron Boots Ennis. And it has been revealed to me that Keith Thurman wants upwards of anywhere between $8 to $10 million or more to face off against Jaron Boots Ennis, okay? He wants $8 to $10 million or more to face off against Jaron Boots Ennis. This is becoming a familiar number when it regards to Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman, he initially stated, just like he does with everybody, he did this with Errol Spence. He stated that Errol Spence wasn't ready. Again, like I said, there was a lot of talks of Errol Spence in 2017 when he beat Kell Brook for his first title opportunity. He now held the IBF. Keith Thurman held the WBC, WBA. It made sense to have a massive unification showdown, right? But guess what? Keith Thurman, he gave Errol Spence the runaround, said that he was going to fight him on his time. He had no interest in fighting Errol Spence at the time, said he needed to let the fight build up. And so with that said, the fight never came to fruition. He gave Errol Spence the runaround. When Terrence Crawford made his debut at the welterweight division, he told the world that Terrence Crawford was too small. Terrence Crawford needed to get his weight up. Terrence Crawford needed to fight some real welterweights, get acclimated to the welterweight division. Then he needed to get a belt. And then Terrence Crawford could possibly face off against Keith Thurman and give him an opportunity. Well, he never gave Terrence Crawford the opportunity. And here, after Terrence Crawford had beaten Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, he asked Terrence Crawford, stated that he would make the fight happen with Terrence Crawford, and he wanted $10 million to make the fight happen with Terrence Crawford, okay? In which Terrence Crawford manager, longtime friend and trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, he stated that Keith Thurman didn't have, the resources to make a fight happen for $10 million, and that Keith Thurman was pricing himself out of the fight with Terrence Crawford, right? Keith Thurman was looking for big money to fight against Errol Spence, in which he stated he's admitted that he misjudged the fight with Errol Spence, and that if he could do it all over again, he would do things different. He looked at Errol Spence as his Manny Pacquiao-Floyd Mayweather fight, but obviously he eventually got the actual Manny Pacquiao fight, in which he lost a split decision, and then he stated he misjudged it, right? Keith Thurman has been going through these stretches where he's just simply inactive. In 2017, he went after Errol Spence was aggressively pursuing him, and it seemed like that's the fight to make. Keith Thurman went on a 2-year hiatus where he didn't come back to the ring until January of 2019. He stated that it was a get-back year. He wasn't going to fight Errol Spence. He had no interest. He suffered an injury, okay? And then he lost to Manny Pacquiao. Then he went on another 2.5-year hiatus, came back in 2022. So this is a pattern, okay, when it's dealing with Keith Thurman. He's not very active, and he seems to, be maneuvering around these big fights or looking to cash out in these mega fights. Seems like Keith Thurman has 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the sport of boxing, as it seems, as currently as it stands. So with that said, he's pricing himself out of the opportunity of fighting Jaron Ennis, or dare I say, giving Jaron Ennis the opportunity, because Keith Thurman has already accomplished. He's unified the belts. He was considered at one point in time the best welterweight in the world. He's a superstar. He's fought on pay-per-view. He fought the legend in Manny Pacquiao. And so Keith Thurman, he's already accomplished, where you have Jaron Ennis is looking to make a name for himself and secure his legacy and build his legacy. And Keith Thurman just seems not to have any interest in doing so. Okay. So with that said, now we have a situation where Keith Thurman is asking for $10 million. This fake article is surfacing and traveling amongst the boxing community that Keith Thurman is saying that he's tired of Jaron Ennis calling him out and slighting him, and that he wants to make the fight happen. Keith Thurman, to me, again, like I said, since he beat Mario Barrios in February 5th, the first week in February, you've heard little to nothing about Keith Thurman or from Keith Thurman. He hasn't been surfaced. Once again, he's disappeared. So he's pricing himself out with Jaron Boots Ennis, once again asking for $10 million. And on top of that, this fake article is surfing. It's not real. So let's see how this all unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like the shitty videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.